Before a race, they seem like modern versions of the Knights of the Round Table suited up for battle. Cloaked in leather and Nomex for armor, they mount their skittish steeds and roll forward to begin their quarter-mile crusade. Astride these volatile, high-revving thoroughbreds, the riders charge down track at blinding speeds in the pocket rocket ride of a lifetime. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Evans, and welcome to this special edition of NHRA Today. We're taking you back a couple of months to Indianapolis Raceway Park, where during the running of the 37th Annual U.S. Nationals, we saw the first running of the Wax Shop Pro Stock Bike Dash, the 8th best in the world for a $15,000 purse. And it's very appropriate that motorcycles are becoming more mainstream in NHRA Championship drag racing. Consider this, the fastest production vehicles in the world are bikes. You can buy a completely stock street machine that'll cover the quarter mile in 10 seconds at almost 140 miles an hour. But these are far from stock. Earlier, Bob Fry took a look at the whole package.
The bikes that are entered in the Wax Shop Pro Bike Dash are a little bit different than the ones you might find at your local motorcycle dealer. Let's take a look at the Star Racing Suzuki of 1990 world champion John Myers. Up front, no tread on the front tire. This tire holds about 35 to 40 pounds of air pressure. You have the big disc brakes on the front, another one on the back. They need to slow these bikes down from speeds of about 175 miles an hour. The front fairing, obviously trying to reduce the amount of wind resistance. Headlights on the front, strictly cosmetic. They don't work. We get up into the rider's compartment. This is the clutch over here on the left side. You get into the middle, you see this little gauge that tells you how much air is in the air shifter. This is the button that John will push as he goes down the racetrack. Push it 4 times to get into high gear. A kill switch hooked up to the rider in case he falls off the bike. And over on the right, just like a regular motorcycle, you got your brake and the regular throttle for the motorcycle. Down here on the left, 2 very important things. This is the foot shifter in case the air shifter should fail. That happened to John Myers earlier in the year. And this is the pneumatic air ram that works the air shifter. The gas tank looks big, but believe me, it's not. Only holds about a quart of racing fuel, used about a pint each run down the racetrack. Over here on the right, 4-into-1 header pipe, computer switch, the regular foot brake, just like a regular motorcycle. The back of the motorcycle holds a 9-inch Goodyear tire. They've got a maximum allowable of 10 inches. They choose a 9-inch tire on this one. And then, of course, the wheelie bars to keep the front end of the motorcycle down on the ground. You won't see a lot of wheel stands in this class. This is the microwave antenna that's hooked up to our onboard camera. The camera right on the side of the helmet of John Myers. You're going to see some magnificent shots during the Wax Shop Pro Bike Dash.
And here was one of John Myers' qualifying runs earlier on. You're about to go for a 7-second, 170-mile-an-hour ride as you struggle to keep that bike in the racing groove in the center of the track. But you got a big challenge coming up, trying to stop the machine as well. Here's how the 8 will pair up for round 1 action. It'll be Jim Bernard on a Suzuki up against Paul Gast. Gast riding the competing make, the Kawasaki. Now the next pair will feature Keith Gray and Steve Meiterman. Both of those riders are on board the Suzuki machine. Bob Fry showed you the John Myers bike earlier on, so you know he's on a Suzuki, and so is his opponent in round 1, Tom Wolbers. Now, Steve Johnson, he is riding a Kawasaki machine versus David Schultz, one of the real favorites, on a Suzuki. So Suzuki definitely has the power of numbers, 6-2 in this 8-bike field. Well, you don't kickstart these babies. You use an off-board electric starter. You just saw it come off the bike with Jim Bernard. And there's his opponent, Paul Gast. Again, this will be Kawasaki versus Suzuki. Gast on the Cal, Bernard on the Suzuki. Jim Bernard is only 22 years of age. This is only his 10th national event. He's yet to win one. His reaction times are incredible, though. Paul Gast, Grand Island, New York, also yet to win a national event. Bernard out-qualified Gast. Bernard in the 3rd spot. These are based on Winston points coming in. And Gast qualified in the 6th position. That's how they meet up here. Everybody looking for the most attractive spot they possibly could find on the starting line. They stage these bikes at an idle, bring them up to about 8,500 RPMs, let the clutch go, and shipped at about 12,000. The highest revving engines in all of NHRA Championship drag racing. Riders hunched over the handlebars, watching those tacks, watching the green lights, and it's a better start by Bernard. And it's a better run overall by 22-year-old Jim Bernard. His father, Skip, got a kick out of that one. A 785, 168 miles per hour to Gast losing 8.15. Bernard with the best reaction time by far. Let's go to Bob Fry at the far end with the winner.
Jim Bernard has always had a pretty good time at racing here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Good opening round, Jim.
Thanks. Yeah, I had a good time here last year. I knew the first round was going to be important. Hadn't really had a good run down the track yet this weekend, and I think I cut a good light and hit all 5 gears just the right time. I think it'll be a good second round.
Well, Bob, you can tell Jim he was only 200ths away from a perfect light. Our next pair, both on Suzuki's, Steve Meiterman and Keith Gray. Meiterman qualified number 4, again based on Winston points. He's from New Jersey. His opponent, Keith Gray, qualified number 5. So they're very closely matched on paper anyway. 3 stage lights are on. They inch forward, get all the bulbs lit. And there's the pro start. Trying to stay, in fact, looking around his windscreen is Steve Meiterman. Now he ducks back into the smooth air, but it's not enough. Keith Gray wins at 8:03 to a losing 8.11 by Meiterman. And already back in the pits is Bernard's bike, where his father Skip to massage it for round number 2. But first, we'll have the other half of round 1 when we come back to Indianapolis.